Look, man, I told y'all on Wednesday we were gonna be back if something got cracking in the market, and I'm a man of my word. God damn it! So we are back. We are back today. Today is Saturday, of course. So naturally, we got a pump on a weekend which we have not got in. I don't even know how fucking long the last time it has been since we received a weekend, i.e., a Saturday pump in the crypto markets. But my damn goodness, look at this, man. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pump candle. It's helping us shape up really good on a weekly. I'm on freaking XRP. Let me get back to Bitcoin. Shaping up excellent on Bitcoin right now as we are approaching the weekly close. We still have tomorrow, of course. So we're a little bit over 24 hours away, about 26 hours away before the weekly close. But look at the way this is printing, man. This is beautiful. Now, remember what we talked about on Wednesday? We talked about Wednesday getting a move like this, that the following couple of days were more than likely going to be consolidation days, and we typically did not break out on Fridays. And gosh damn it, we didn't break out, but we did on Saturday, right? We got our two consolidations on Thursday and on Friday. Friday did push us all the way back up to Wednesday's highs, but we closed below Wednesday's. We closed below Wednesday's high, as y'all can see here. That candle closes below the high of Wednesday. However, Saturday has given us a push up to close above the previous high that we made, and we're closing pretty strongly now. Obviously, running into some really strong resistance here, as you can see. This is an area that's been rejected once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and now we're approaching again. We're approaching again on a Saturday. So what I will say is, if you are fearing the fact that maybe you did not catch the bottom, guess what? It is okay. You're unlikely to catch the bottom anyway. However, now is not the time to start FOMO, panicking, and pressing buttons, clicking long. That's your quickest way to liquidation. All right, what we can do now that we have gotten the move we look for, again, got the consolidation, got the break up. Now, we're still not out of the woodworks, obviously. But what we can look for now is we can start being on the lookout for pullbacks that will help us to get positions to take long as we enter next week. Considering, or I guess not considering, but given that Bitcoin closes this weekly very strong as it is, hopefully we don't get a rejection back under 82,000 or anything like that, because that would not be a very good candle. Close to the week, but if we can close something along the lines of what we're closing really right now, we're looking really good setting up for next week. All right, so on the daily, we're gonna do our typical top down, right? We had been holding this $76,000 area as support. You can see now that we have created another support area where we formed resistance, came down, we were able to hold this area here, and then we pushed up, broke resistance highs. We broke the previous daily's bearish candle high, which is a very, very good sign. So now we got at least somewhere where we can start to work with, right? So we got resistance now, we got support now at about 79,400 in the 79,400 area, right? And now our next resistance technically is here, right? Where we're running into right now. We're filling a gap. Obviously, this large wick has left room to be tested, and this is also the underside of where we broke down. Okay, so on lower time frames, we're probably gonna have some resistance forming here. So we'll drop down into the 4 hour, see if we can get a little bit better view. Okay, cool, man. We talked about this too, how if we are able to break above the Wednesday high, that we would likely come and fill in and take all of these wicks here at 85K and possibly fill in the rest of this wick. I didn't think that we would get all the way to the top of it, but I figured we would fill in part of it. And so far, we're pushing 86,000, and this could be the area where we're kind of like tapping out, essentially, where we're running into some exhaustion, and we will be looking for some retracements back down. If you want to get short on those, you're more than welcome to. I wouldn't personally be shorting bullish strength. As you can see, all of the sellers in these areas have just been blown out in 2 days' time. And not only in 2 days' time, but one of those days being on the weekend. So your shorts are not safe food, right? Your shorts are not safe. In my opinion, it is better to wait for some retracements to get long. That's just me. Y'all are welcome to do what y'all want to do. But that's how I'm playing it out. So anyway, on the 4 hour, you can see we're running into resistance here. This technically would probably be a little bit better as like the strong resistance area. As you see, we just consolidated here before breaking down. So good resistance zone. Drop this down into the 1 hour now. And actually, we'll go on the 4 hour. Also, we got some more context around support areas that can be created. This probably looks like a really good area of support. We have some resistance, come down, retest, boom, and then our bullish candles broke us out. Now, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily the better area of resistance. It could be, but I guess we'll have to do some further investigation, right? So we'll go drop it down to the 1 hour. Yeah, I would say that this is not the area where you want to be looking to get long, because this is Saturday's lows, right? This is where Saturday created the low, boom, and started pushing up. So these are probably I would say illiquid lows that are likely to be tested. We also have a flat candle that opened up here. If y'all can see that candle right there, it's flat at 6 a.m. So, and this candle down here is also flat. So we got some areas where price could definitely come back and retest into. I guess we'll just have to kind of see what that is looking like. All right, so we'll go ahead and mark this out. Boom, we got this area of support on the 1 hour. We got a few different areas where price could get some bounces from. We'd have to see. Maybe we get a bounce from here. It looks something like this, right, where we push up and then maybe we come down here and form something like that. I think the more likely scenario will be something like this, and then we kind of just disrespect this, come back down into here, and then we start to maybe get long later on in the week, something like that, right? It doesn't necessarily have to come down this low, but I feel like that would be a pretty healthy pullback. Yeah, considering especially, again, this is a weekend move, I just would not be trusting this to continue moving higher immediately, right? I would expect that we're going to get some pullback, some retracement. This would be the area where I would initially be looking to long, unless we develop something, up higher that gives me confidence and gives me reason to believe that we would be going higher without having to really pull back this far. Okay, so again, that could be holding the 84,000 level. We'll just have to see. I feel like this area is likely to come and be retested. Okay, so cool, man. Everything is looking really good. Of course, when Bitcoin is at 75,000, everybody's calling for 60K. And even then, in previous video, I believe it was Monday last week, we talked about how we could come and retest this low, but we'd want to see support develop on this low in order to retest the other side of the range, which we got. We got a breakout, and then we came and retested again. We retested the breakout, as I said we should be expecting. It came a little bit deeper than I thought it was going to, but then we fired up out of there, right? So everything is looking really, really good on higher time frames, and then obviously on low time frames, this is looking really good as well. Now, the reason why I don't think that we form support right here is obviously because this is not really like a strong area of support, right? There's no real consolidation in this area. This was a simple retest and a move higher. So typically, if these are going to come lower, it's going to just, come straight through here. Okay, and it would be looking to retest this cluster, in my opinion. We'll just have to monitor that and see how that is looking, as the week progresses. Right? Cool. So pretty simple there. Nothing much to it. Again, look for areas of retest in the 82,000 area, maybe a little bit higher. We'll have to see how price develops, but looking really good. So sweet. On Ethereum, man, Ethereum is one that, Ethereum and XRP really got me this week. I'm not gonna lie, and I'll explain why. Right, But Ethereum is slamming right into a very clear resistance right now. Right, this is the most clarity we have as far as resistance, I think, on most charts. It is just slamming right back into it. So this could be an area where we reject off of. Even if we push up a little bit higher, we could reject off here, come down a little bit lower before we get up out of there. Right, something like that. So yeah. Okay, on the daily, there's our resistance form. Here's our support. We got some support down here. We also have some support being created in here on lower time frames, so we'll just have to kind of see. It's just consolidating, in my opinion, right now. On the 4 hour, yeah, 4 hour looking pretty good. So this would be the area where I would be looking for retests. Maybe it doesn't come down this far, all the way to 1550, but possible that it does. Right? We're forming some decent support here in this area as well. So if we were to get below, we're creating market structure right now, so we're consolidating. If we were unable to close higher and we broke below here and then retested, then we're likely to come back down here, right? Something like that. That doesn't happen. It's probably not going to look exactly like this. Not going to happen exactly like this, but these are just the ideas that we would be looking for to be presented, right? So a break and a close below 1640 sends us a little bit lower for a retracement, probably to come out and take out this flat wick, of course. Again, another Saturday flat wick, and maybe we just come to retest these highs. Maybe we come all the way back into 1550. Who knows? We'll just have to see what it's looking like from there, right? So that's on the 4 hour. These are our support and resistance areas, and then this is obviously a very strong resistance area. Price tested up here and knocked all the way back, okay, which is to be expected. It was our very first move up past the Monday high that we had created. So a knockback was to be expected. This is a really ugly recovery, but a really good recovery at the same time. Okay, so on the 1 hour, on the 1 hour, we got some more information here. So, boom, we got this area. Looks like it's a pretty decent area to be held as support. It's very possible that, I would say if Bitcoin is going to retest in the 82,000s, that unless ETH starts really showing some strength, that we probably dip below as well. And it looks like, maybe we just come down into this area here. This is a decent little consolidation area, as y'all can see, right? So maybe we get something like that, and then, we start to form some type of recovery pattern, okay? But you have to measure here. So this is a good range below here. It's about a 40 pip range, right? So it looks really good. We have some support drawn right here. Again, this is on the 1 hour time frame, so anything that is developing on lower time frames will end up showing itself on higher time frames. You just gotta wait for the triggers, okay, and know what you're looking for. All right, so but first, what I would want to see is at least maybe some clear out. It doesn't necessarily have to come and take this high, but something like this could be possible too. It just depends on, again, how price kind of shapes up. We'll have to see. But for now, we got some really good structure forming, and we have some really good areas where we could be looking to do business. All right. So these are the areas I would be looking for. Worst case scenario, I think 1550. Best case scenario, I think between 1590 and like 1575, something like that. But these are all, got a bunch of clean runs of candles, and these happen on the weekend. So we'll just have to see how price develops, okay? But overall, looking really good here. Looking really, 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 really good. I was in this ETH trade. I had taken this trade here as it broke above 1575. I actually was in a lot lower. I got in at 1565 once we failed to break this low and we started reversing, even though it was on this candle here. So we started breaking low here, and as we started breaking back above the high, I got in. Now I got out at 1580 just because of the time of day it was. I believe it was already like 3:30, something like that in the afternoon. So we were getting close to New York close. So I closed out at 1580, and it was actually a really good close for that time. And I kind of just left the charts. I didn't even look at it after that. And ETH started to die off, and I thought, typical ETH to die as soon as it makes any sort of forward progress. As soon as the crypto markets start to make any sort of forward progress, and then, from Friday at about 11 p.m., 10 p.m. to now, it has just completely ripped to the upside. So just like ETH to do things that it shouldn't do, either direction, whether it's buying or selling, it's selling off harder than everything, and then buying on buys up, it is lagging behind everything and then doing it on stupid days that it shouldn't. Right? So, yeah, such is the life of ETH, which is why we very, very rarely trade ETH. We stick to Bitcoin, stick to XRP. Those are where our guns are at. But anyway, all that being said, looking like some really, really good areas of consolidation. Just wait for price to develop. Again, if we want bullish candles to develop on support. Otherwise, if we start forming resistance and breaking support areas, take it down to the next support. Right? Very simple. Just keep it as simple as possible. We start developing like this and breaking down, just take it down here. Take it. Just take the trade down. If you're an E trader, take the trade down. It's okay. It is okay. Now, it's probably not in your best interest to be holding shorts anymore. Again, if you're going to be shorting, you want to be in and out. Just make sure you're in clear areas where there's little resistance against your position. Okay? Cool. I hope that is clear. All right, so now let's go look at Solana. This one has been, holy shit, been ripping and fucking roaring. Look at this shit, man. Even this was a great candle on Wednesday. Thursday was decent, especially because of the way we closed. Friday's candle was really good, but Saturday's candle has obviously been the best. Saturday's candle has been larger than any of the candles we saw throughout the week. That's a 10, almost 11% candle. Maybe Wednesday. Yeah, okay. Okay. That's fair. This Wednesday candle was about 19%. So Wednesday's candle by far the largest actually. But for Saturday's candle to be an 11% candle, pretty damn impressive. And it is just pressing and pressing and pressing. Obviously we're coming up into some resistance again. Testing the underside here. This was a strong area of resistance. I would expect that this is going to be a continued area of resistance. Now whether we push up, maybe take out the highs at 140 or something before we kind of stall out and make some retracements, yet to be seen. But I would expect some sort of stalling to happen from here. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop this down to the 4 hour. Yeah, especially when you look at these candles, like these are really ugly. Right, we got a straight line of candles up. Got some support. It's very minor support, just a quick little retest and then a move away, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We're filling all of this entire down moves candle pretty much, and then we've got some more just straight up candles. So I would be expecting, once we start to see some exhaustion in here, there probably is going to be some good short opportunities in the short term, just to take the rotation back down towards equilibrium, right? Or take or main reversion, whatever you want to call it, right? So let's get down even into the 1 hour time frame. Look at some price action that we got developing here. Yeah, so this would be, for me, this would be the resistance area that we're looking for resistance to develop. And then if we were to be able to break below here, probably take this move at least back down to $124, possibly lower, possibly towards 122. I would say any of the Saturday move that has happened, I would look for a majority of it to be retraced. I could be wrong, right? I could definitely be wrong, and we don't get that, and that's fine. I'll develop my bias from there. But as it stands right now, I would be looking for a failure, and then a move down, some consolidation, and then a move down this way before we can get some type of support building and break back up. All right. Feels like we're kind of overextended. This has been just looks like a really straight manufactured lineup, if I'm not going to lie. This looks like a manufactured straight lineup, and I'm not hating. That's okay. But in order for us to trade this, we're going to need some good, really proper market structure to develop. Okay, so be expecting a break below here, a break below 128, 129 area could take us all the way back down towards 120, and see how things develop from there. Otherwise, if we're going to hold this area, maybe we hold here on Sunday and Monday and see if we can continue getting this push up. we'll just have to see how that develops, right? So I would say that between here, this is a no trade zone, right, that we're in right now. I would not be trading in here at all. It looks really choppy, is really choppy, so this would be the area where I just stay away from until we get some really clear development. Because even if you wanted to short, like there's rejections here, there's rejections here. It's really not safe to short until you close below $128, 128.75 area. Then you got a clean run of candles that are looking really weak. This looks really weak down here as well. So we could definitely get a move back into these areas. Don't rule it out. Don't rule it out. But these would be areas where I would be absolutely looking to get long. I would be looking for some type of market structure to show up, some consolidation that would allow me to get long down here. Okay. Cool. That's on that is on Solana. Now we're gonna move over to XRP, and I'm gonna explain to y'all why this one really triggered me. I'm not gonna lie. And really, it's probably my fault. It's probably my fault that it's triggering me, but it triggered me nonetheless. Right. So, just like everything else, we got some support that developed here on Thursday. Let me go ahead and mark that out. And drop down onto the daily. We're running into the resistance right now. This is obviously some really strong resistance areas. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts to push up to this area with the inability to break out. Okay, so that's on the daily. That's a really strong resistance area. So I would be looking for some rejections to form here. On the 4 hour, this is a very weak area of support, I would say. We've got a flat, not only do we have a flat body, but it was just a simple pullback and then continuation up. It's not technically a flat body, but pretty close, right? So pretty close to a flat candle. So be looking for maybe something like this, some market structure develop where we come back and test lower into here, something like that. Okay. But the reason that this one got me, so I was in this trade. Let's see, where were we at? It was on Friday. Let me see if I can. Let me just get down into the 1 hour, so I'll be able to say. Okay, yeah. So, where was this trade at that I took? Okay, it was here. So we had seen this Darth Maul candle, right? Considered, and it's not really a great Darth Maul candle because it didn't wipe liquidity out from this side. But I got in, boom, took the trade up to here. As it broke above $2 here and 3 cents, I took my profit and had my stops below the low. Came out, stopped me out, and then I didn't want to get back. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to get back in on Friday because it was Friday and I didn't expect a move to happen. However, I was looking at this on the daily time frame, and I was literally saying, as we close this candle at $2, I was like, man, if we can get a pullback, we should be able to push back up and at least retest the highs. At least retest the highs that we created. And instead, we just blew straight through them. Right? This is on Thursday. So I was here. Goodness, I'm getting all this mixed up. I was in here, and I was thinking, because price was coming down this way. And I was thinking, even at that point, it had not reached $2.05. We had still only reached about $2.03, and I was just like, man, I really think that we can come and at least test the highs that we created on the previous day. However, I was not ready to, I was not willing to give any of the profits back. So I took what I could and got out, and then it ended up going straight to target area, came out and took out $2.05, did exactly what I was expecting it to. But it came and stopped me out here for, okay, this is where I was at. I was in right here. Yeah, this makes sense. I was in right here. Took the break above this candle high. As it pushed up, we're running into rejection, so I got out. Came back out, stopped me out here, the remaining of my position. So it was very small because I closed about 90%. Came back, stopped me out, and then reversed, went and hit the area where I was targeting and even took out that high. So frustrating, but hey, you gotta take what you can get in the markets, right? That's the whole name of the game. Take what you can get as long as you're making profits. That's really all that counts. However, it does not make it any less fucking annoying that it went straight to the area where I had believed it was going to, only after it stopped me out. But that's just part of the game. So anyway, back to this. We're going to go ahead and on the 4 hour, we got some support being built down here at around the $2 area. $2 is obviously an extremely important area on this chart. We had talked about it many, many times. So if you haven't, if you don't understand why, go back and look at some of the other videos and they'll explain why $2 is a very important area for us. So as we're developing some market structure here, we'll have to see whether or not we can get a break below 213. That would take us back to fill at least some of this gap down, right? Some of these clean bullish candles, and maybe back into support at around $2. We'll have to see. It's not necessary that it does, but you know, in my experience, that it's pretty likely that it'll at least come back down towards this area, right? So maybe we get some resistance to form, and then we come down here and boom. It probably will not look anything like this, but you know, just some sort of bearish structure to form here, or consolidation to form, I should say, that breaks below this low and closes below. Then we could expect to move back down towards $2.05. When it gets here, we'd want to see some bullish patterns start to develop to where we get back long, take it back towards these highs. All right. So yeah, very, very clear cut and easy structures developing right now. Right. Very clear cut. And you just want to, as always, wait for price to develop in the way that you want to see it happen. And when it does that, don't be afraid to execute on the trade. You know, I mean, I think the best scenario would be if we came down here and we, you know, took some of this liquidity, but then recovered this. That way we don't have to have, you know, too drastic of a pullback. But I think it might be a little bit healthier in the long run if we were to come here and then break below, come back and retest this area and form some bullish structure in here. I think that might be the healthiest type of price action. We'll just have to monitor and see how it goes until then. But cool, man. So I'll be back on Sunday to see how the weekly candle is going to be finishing up. That way we can kind of preview what to be expecting for the week ahead. But right now, everything is shaping up very, very, very nice. Very nice. We cannot complain. It really feels like, as everybody was getting obscenely and extremely scared and panicky and bearish at the bottoms, we got some really good reactions. And in my opinion, these are the type of reactions we want to see if we're going to see a continuation of a bull market. That does not mean that the bull market is going to continue tomorrow, right? It could take a few days. It could take a week for some really proper market structure to form in order to propel us, you know, forward going into the end of April and into May. Nonetheless, I think the next few weeks are going to be looking very good. If anything should develop and it starts to look like, you know, we're actually showing weakness and this is more looking like a bear market rally rather than a continuation for the bull market, we'll talk about all that. We'll come back on and, you know, kind of decipher that and discuss it. But for right now, everything is looking good, and there's some really good opportunities presenting themselves. So just make sure you're prepared, make sure you know what to look for, and execute. And don't be afraid to pull the trigger. All right, cool. I'm not going to hold y'all too long. If y'all enjoyed this video, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, we will continue to do these breakdowns, making price action as easy to read as possible for y'all. Again, the simpler you make your trading, the much easier it is going to be on you and on your trading journey. You don't want to make things too complicated. Just understand simple market structure and simple price action, what you would be expecting to develop, and execute on that, and you're going to be just fine. All right, cool. Leave a comment if there's anything else y'all would like me to discuss, if there's any other charts you want me to take a look at, if there's any questions that y'all might have. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But until next time, which will be tomorrow night, more than likely. Until next time, I will see y'all later. Peace.